Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and to another video. You might notice that I am not wearing riding attire, and that is for two reasons. Reason number one, today we are going on an adventure and I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to get active other than riding horses. And two, I have started to make some changes lately in my personal life about the way that I live, my sort of lifestyle, the things that I eat, the things that I put in my body, the way that I take care of myself. And one of my prime motivators for making these changes is to be a better version of myself for Merlin and for the other horses that I ride. So it's not strictly like a completely horsey video because there's likely not going to be any horses in it, but a lot of the goals and changes that I'm going to be discussing in this video are going to have a direct impact on my riding, hopefully, but also just to get back to doing some of the things other than riding horses that I really enjoy. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. We are going to go on a hike at Mont Tremblant Provincial Park in Quebec. It's the one that I've chosen is meant to be really pretty, so I'm really excited to get back to something that I used to do all the time. I've inputted the trail into my maps and I have approximately a 2-hour drive ahead of me, which for me is nothing to drive 2 hours for a hike. And today I really needed some good motivation, and the views on this trail just look stunning. You can see it's beginning of September and the leaves are already starting to turn. Definitely going to be coming back here to hike some trails once the leaves turn a bit more. This has already been a much more strenuous hike than I was expecting. This is like the type of trail it is. Let's get to the topic at hand. Something to know about me is that until very recently, the majority of my fitness has been made up of riding. And for a lot of people, that works fine. For me, I'm starting to notice that I don't necessarily have the same level of stamina that I used to. And I'm really starting to notice my riding suffering now that I'm advancing a little more in dressage beyond the basic movements. And lately, I've been gaining a lot of inspiration on Instagram and on TikTok just about the fact that equestrianism is a sport. You know, we expect our horses to be these athletes, but a lot of us don't actually do that much fitness outside of riding. If you think about other sports, hockey, gymnastics, running, you know, all of these athletes do fitness outside of their regular sports practices. Goodness, look at this. Ugh. And I have sort of clear and tangible goals for my journey with Merlin that will require me to be more physically fit than I am. Granted, those goals are years down the road. My plans to do eventing with him, I very much want to start on that fitness journey now because I'm well aware that I am 26. I know I'm still young, but the older you get, the harder it is to get back into shape. I'm starting to notice now that I'm doing more things like sit trot and really understanding how we can use our bodies to help indicate what we want to the horse without having to use our hands so much. My core is really weak, and also that the stamina that I used to have, because I used to do a lot of hiking, is pretty much gone. And the hike that I'm doing today is hopefully the start to what I anticipate to be a fun-filled autumn of pretty fall colors and getting back into shape. So you might ask, what does my lack of fitness have to do with Merlin? So when I got Merlin, I swore that I was going to do the best by him that I could. And I'm really starting to realize that as he gets older, he's going to become a level of horse that has a lot of power that's going to require me to be more physically fit than I am now. So in continuing the sort of fitness journey that I've been on now for probably like about a month, it's my hope that I'm going to build long-lasting habits that will carry forward through the years and make me the best rider and the best athlete that I can be for both Merlin, but also for myself. The camera's really not showing how steep this is, but whew. And I would say that I bit off more than I could chew, that this is too intense of a hike for me, first one back, but no, it's a challenge. I can do it. I used to do hikes that were like this, but like twice, 3 times as long. Just gotta ease back into it. This trail is only 3.5 kilometers. And this sort of journey to getting fitter and healthier isn't born out of any desire to lose weight. I had a just trigger warning, there's going to be discussions of food and stuff like that. I had a really unhealthy relationship with food in high school and in my early years of university. And I'm finally at a point where for the first time in years, I'm happy with my body. My desire to get fitter and live healthier is just so that I can be in the best shape that I can be for Merlin and for the things that I want to do with him, but also so that I stand a better chance of riding consistently and at a decent level well into my later years. So like I was saying, previous to now, my majority of my fitness was made up of riding, and then I would do the odd burst of intense working out of a desire to get fit when really it was a desire to lose weight, and then I would lose motivation and stop, and then 6 months later I would start again, and it was very stop, start, stop, start. Versus now, I'm slowly building habits that I hope will last a long time. My goal is that fitness and hiking and making sure to take my dog for more than just a walk around the block every day, things like that, that will become as instinctual a habit as making these videos has become and as eating healthy has become. My first step in this journey before I even started trying to get more movement in was to change my diet. And those are some changes that I've been making gradually over the last probably year and a half now. And I'm at a point now where I'm really happy with my diet. I'm motivating myself to do it by saying that I'm getting fitter for my horse so that I can be the best version of myself and the best rider and to move forward in this sport as much as I can. And it's just the nature of my personality that if I use someone or something else to motivate me, I'm more likely to do it, because unfortunately I'm not very good at doing things for myself like that will benefit me. So if I frame it as benefiting Merlin, I'm more likely to go through with it. And that is just me being brutally honest. I'm 26 at this point. I know myself very well. I'm now going to continue up to the viewpoint. I've just stopped and had a snack. I'm gonna have my lunch up there, and then we will chat a little bit about goal setting, motivation going into the winter. So I'm nearly at the top or the summit of the trail, but I'm getting a good glimpse of the view that you get from the top, and stunning. I cannot get over this view. This, my friends, is why hiking is my favorite form of exercise. Truly. Like, I mean, obviously horses, but like, you get physical activity and travel and adventure all at the same time. So now that I'm nearly at the summit, I'm in a quiet place. I want to talk a little bit about goal setting and how this sort of journey into better fitness has inspired me to set some fitness and non-fitness related goals. This was sort of inspired by a video that Emily AMD Eventing did a few weeks ago about how she's started to train to run a half marathon. And obviously my fitness related goals are not that intense, but it did give me a lot of motivation. And I don't know if it's because it's September, and September for me has always been about new beginnings, back to school, stuff like that. In the last couple of years, when I've gotten an idea in my head and I go about starting it slowly and gently, building habits over time, it has lasted. Like my healthy eating, consistently riding, you know, training plans for Merlin. Lately, I felt like I've just been sort of drifting with not a lot of like goals in mind. I'm currently in between jobs. So my contract in the communications job that I was in for the last 8 months ended on August 31st. It's now September 9th, and I have a little bit of a break in between the end of that job and the start of my new job, which is another temporary contract only until the end of the year, but it's going to give me some really good experience and I'm really excited about it. And I feel like this is a transition period for me in terms of my career. I don't know, I'm just motivated, really motivated to continue making changes that will make my life happier and that I feel like I'm not wasting time. Because if I felt anything over the last 2 years of this pandemic, it's just that I spent so long over the last 2 years just sitting inside, not doing anything, watching a lot of TV and not getting out and exploring. And before I got Merlin, travel and hiking and making the most of the free time that I had was a big part of my life, and I want to get back to that. And that is going to have the added bonus of making me fitter for my horse. So I have two major fitness goals in mind, aside from the riding that I do. So I tend to ride 4 to 5 days a week, 1 or 2 horses every time I go out. I've got 2 horses in full work, Merlin and Eve, who's a little thoroughbred mare that belongs to my coach who I'm riding. I do want to start to slowly introduce more fitness into my sort of everyday routine. Starting out, I'm gonna try to move twice a week. And this movement could be anything. And then I also want to try to start upping the amount of steps I get in every day. When I'm working from home, it's really hard to motivate myself to leave my house besides to go to the barn. So I'm gonna try to start walking my dog every single day. Even if it's just a little putter around the block, we're gonna try. So those are my 2 main fitness related goals. Then I also have some like health related goals that I wanna just keep maintaining. The main thing that I want to stop doing as much is ordering on Uber Eats. It's a problem. I know it's a problem. I order in way more than I should. If I want to cut out needless expenses, takeout is the first thing that's going to go. So that's a sort of health related goal. And then I want to talk about just a few goals that I have for Merlin before he goes on his winter break. So the main goal that I had about a month ago was to get him hacking out comfortably. And as you saw in a previous video, I've basically done that. We're still working on it, but right now the fields are too wet to go hacking in, so I consider that like somewhat done. Another thing that I'm really going to be focusing on is to get him working comfortably in a long, sort of long and low stretchy outline at walk, trot, and canter. And then my last goal, which I've sort of recently decided, is I want to have him going bridleless before he goes on his break. Having these goals in mind makes me feel like I'm making the most of the time that I have. Because I'm like 99% sure I have undiagnosed ADHD, if I don't have a very clear idea of what I'm doing, which is why I use that Finch app that I was talking about in my self-care video, I just waste time. And I have a lot of fun, like, don't get me wrong, reading for hours on end, playing Animal Crossing, watching TV, whatever, it's fun. But I just feel like I've done so much of that over the last 2 years, and getting to a point where it's making me sad. All the things that I haven't done over the last 2 years is making me sad. So now that COVID restrictions are lighter, things aren't looking as dire as they were, say, even this time last year, I feel comfortable going out and getting back to some of the things that I did before the pandemic and before Merlin. Because like I said in my self-care video, when you get a horse, it can be very easy to focus so much of your attention and so much of yourself on the horse that you lose some aspects of who you were before the horse. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like in some cases, horses can help us heal from things that we want to get away from. But for me, I've been focusing so much on Merlin that I have lost some little pieces of myself that used to make me really happy, like hiking. I just feel like with my new job and a lot of changes happening, it's the perfect time to make a video like this. And especially going into winter where I feel like a lot of people can lose motivation. If I have clear goals going into winter that'll carry me through into next year, it'll help me avoid the sort of depression and slump that I normally go through, especially in like January. So that is likely more than enough of me blathering on and on and on. So I'm going to go explore the rest of this mountaintop, enjoy the view, and finish the hike, and I will see you a little bit later once I get back to the car.
Bet you thought you knew me. Screw it, I'ma say it is a shout out to my ex-man. Told him keep the money, I've been working on the freelance. No one look good, independent. Where you once stood, I'll be dancing. Now I love myself more than you ever did, and I know you can tell. Damn, I'm vibing with the new me. And if you got a problem, you can sue me.
I survived the hike. I'm very much looking forward to the shower when I get home 2 hours from now, because it is a 2-hour drive. I just want to close off this video by saying that if you made it this far, I really appreciate it, because I know that this is very different from the other videos I've made in the past. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, make sure to check out some of my other videos, hit the like button and subscribe. If you've also set some goals for yourself recently, let me know down in the comments what those are. I'm really glad that I did the hike the way I did, because it's a loop. I'm glad I went up the way I did and down the way I came, because it was really intense down, and I probably would have given up before I got to the top. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye!
Damn, I'm vibing with the new me. And If you got a problem, you